Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, the channel that breaks down all the daily Bitcoin news from Twitter to the daily fail, the meme review, the software releases, and the websites by fellow plebes. Drop us a like and subscribe. We're going to start it off with the numbers. Here we go.
Block booty dashboard.
Currently at a block height of 660,120. Bitcoin price 19,040. Chain rewrite days, 604, and the total lightning capacity, 1,065.03 Bitcoin.
Man, this consolation or whatever that word is. What's help me out here, Phil?
Which word?
Consolidation. There we go. This
Yes,
consolidation at these numbers is just absolutely wild. Unfortunately, Satoshi, the Bitcoin chicken, is going to stay in his chicken coop today because the price of Bitcoin has still not hit that all-time high. I think we hit 19.5, right, Phil? So,
yep, that's right.
So until it breaches that 19.5 number at the time of recording, Satoshi, the Bitcoin chicken, stays in his chicken coop. Yeah. Phil, it's time for
the daily fail. Okay, you got to put a muzzle on Raul because he just keeps going.
Dude,
here we go.
He's been burying himself in a grave. He just doubles down. I don't know why, but let's check it out.
This is great. So Zender, shout out to him, Zentoshi. He retweeted this part of the video. So if you call it shitcoins, I want to know about it because I know there's opportunity because you're being dumb, because you've got a closed mind. Okay, here we go.
Because if you call it shitcoins, I want to know about it because I know there's opportunity because you're being dumb. And you're being dumb, not that you might be right, but you've got a closed mind. And if I'm up against somebody with a closed mind, I can find an edge. And that's because if you call it shitcoins, I want...
All right, yeah, he can find an edge. He can find an edge scamming his listeners into buying more subscriptions so that they can be shilled shitcoins. This disingenuous prick, okay, sat here for months and praised Bitcoin. Bitcoin only he praised. And then once the price pumps, there's more engagement. Amazingly, he becomes just a total shitcoiner. So you know what? He's a shitcoiner from the beginning, if you ask me. This guy is really only out to sell the subscriptions to his stupid service. And you know what? At the end of the day, man, the only thing that teaches these people is... And I just want to add one other piece. It's very sly, the wording that he uses, right? Because he wants you to feel bad, okay? That you're not listening to his bullshit, right? So now you're close-minded and you're being dumb. You're close-minded and being dumb because you're not falling for an affinity scam that isn't Bitcoin, that does not have the same properties or qualities as Bitcoin, which is what you are looking for in this space. So it's what a piece of shit. Anyways.
Yeah, just don't use paid groups. If what they knew was so awesome, was so special, they wouldn't sell it to you.
Of course.
They would keep it to themselves, right? But Phil, it's time for
the daily meme review.
All right, everybody. Our meme for today is brought to us by Sharky Bit. It's let's check it out. It is a meme. He did add music. I didn't see the whole thing. Let's see if it's any good.
They are in no sense. There is no guarantee of the value of Bitcoin. I've said publicly, because we were concerned about it. I'd like to actually think it was quite a good example of the FCA acting promptly. If you want to buy Bitcoin, be prepared to lose all your money. If you want to buy it, fine, but understand what you've got. It has no intrinsic value. It may have extrinsic value, but it has no intrinsic value. If you want to buy Bitcoin, be prepared to lose all your money.
That was a ridiculous meme. Shout out to Sharky Bit. The music, just it was hilarious. These banking boomers are just, man, they're gonna suffer, bro. And I'm gonna give that a 9.
Ooh, very nice, very nice.
What about you?
Okay, well, always being, I guess a whole lot nicer. It's that Canadianness of me or whatever, but I'm going to go with the 9.8.
Ooh, okay.
That's a real high score. You know why? Because I love heavy metal. Okay, I'm a huge metal fan from the the late 80s, like obviously Metallica and stuff like that, and Sepultura and Slayer. Anyways, that was fantastic. I think that's like the first time I'm sure people have done it in the past, but that was the first time I ever heard a Bitcoin meme to some good heavy metal. Like, that was cool. I like it.
Yeah, I love the music. I love the source material. It was a solid meme. The only reason I didn't give it a perfect 10, I mean, I don't know why. But I've been very strict lately. We
have to. Apparently we're, we give too much rookie scores. We got to be tougher,
Exactly. Just with all the after the Matrix memes, man, you got to beat that bar to get a perfect 10 from me.
Yeah.
And Phil, it's time for
the Daily News, sponsored by Crypto Cloaks.
All right, everybody. It's a special edition of Simply Bitcoin. My mind's all over the place today. But yeah, it's a special edition of Simply Bitcoin. On the weekends, we're really going to do, there's really not that much news as releases like the weekdays. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to summarize I think the most bullish tweets or, negative tweets from the tweeter. All right. So we're going to start out with the Northman trader. I don't know who he is, but basically, it's very self-explanatory. The money supply just exploded even further. And just kind of zoom in on this, right? This is how much the Fed has added to the money supply, right? This was the 2009 crash that created Bitcoin, right? You see this? And this was the coronavirus printer, and the reason that the economy hasn't crashed, right, is because they've injected this much money into the total. So now I have a serious question for you guys. Do you think that's sustainable? And if you say no, then why the hell don't you own Bitcoin by now? All right, let's move on to the next one. This is just, I want you guys to listen to this yourself, right? She slipped up, okay? But we'll talk about it after, Phil.
And on the preloaded stimulus idea, none of us have a crystal ball. But economists like Ben, like Doug, have been pointing out that some Canadian households, and it tends to be the better off households, do have quite a lot of money that they've saved because there hasn't been that much to do in the pandemic. And certainly it would be great if that money could go towards driving our recovery. And I want to make an offer now to all of your listeners. If people...
Okay. Central bankers usually don't do that, right? But she just told you she doesn't like that you save. So that you should do something with your money that's yours because we don't like it. I know. We've been telling you this. Bitcoiners have been telling you this, right? And one of the reasons you use Bitcoin is sovereignty, right? If you have your money in banks, people like her and all her cronies, right? They get to do whatever the hell they want with your money, man. They do that with fractionally reserved banking. They're already doing that, right? So
they're already, yes.
And they don't want you to save, right? And the reason they don't want you to save is because this modern monetary theory only works if you're constantly spending on the rat race, on the rat wheel. You're constantly making them wealthy, right? By continuing their shenanigans, right? So Bitcoin is not only a vote with your wallet, which is the most important vote in my opinion, but it's also a vote of your sovereignty. You're choosing to opt out of the craziness, right? So Phil, what are your thoughts on that insane video?
So as we were watching that and you're explaining this, I think it's an interesting thought, obviously, is that, you know, they don't want you saving. Now, why don't they want you hanging on to that cash? I think if more people hung on to that cash, they would recognize a lot faster what is happening to their purchasing power. So by constantly getting you to spend money, number one, you're not really paying attention. Number two, when they make, you know, you're pretty much incentivized to put it into the market, either through real estate, bonds, stocks. And in that case, you really don't notice the slippage. But I think it's also a problem of, you know, like in businesses, we manage to the metric. Okay. If your metric is we need, you know, 80% service level, then people will cut corners and do whatever they have to get to that number. And it's the same thing with governments and our economy, right? Whenever they measure GDP or they measure all these, they measure these different metrics, right? These metrics are not about, you know, necessarily well-being or, you know, a happiness metric or something like that. It's a metric about how much money people spend. Why does that matter? That's like the least important thing in your life is how much money you spend. The quality of your life is what matters. And what they do is they trick you, okay, into thinking that somehow this number equals these other things. The quality of your life, the better place that you live in. This is just, it's a total illusion and it's a complete freaking scam. And we've all been had.
Amen, brother. You're exactly right. I couldn't say it better myself. And the last piece of news for today, guys, after Phil's awesome preach, is Michael Saylor, which he kind of took a left turn yesterday by agreeing.
We're going to talk about that during this.
By agreeing to go on CZ's podcast or whatever. That's just not a good idea. CZ just likes to peddle shit coins. But on a more positive note, he decided to buy 2,574 more 74 Bitcoins more for a price of $50 million at an average price. This is the most important part, Phil, at 19,427. Okay. So there's a lot to unpack here, right? The first thing is, guys, forget about the 50 million, forget about what money is relative, right? So money, $50 million could mean nothing to him, could mean everything to us. It means the world to you. I don't know, right? So money's relative, so that part isn't important. What is important is he's so bullish on Bitcoin that he bought $50 million worth, and he runs a public company, right? He bought $50 million worth, right? At $19,400. That's insane. That is $500 from the all-time high, right? And he was so confident on Bitcoin's future that he's willing to buy it at that price, right?
Yep.
So, Phil, for me, that's like all my bones in my body are just like, wow, the hash rate, this, that, like all the stars, all the planets are lining up, man. It's absolutely insane. And what are your thoughts on this?
I think the message is clear. These buyers, they don't care about the price. Right now, this current price is irrelevant to them. And even though we don't like to talk about price on this, okay, there is one. I mean, obviously we give it at the beginning just as a reference point, but you know, last time we saw these levels, they were instantaneous. They were quick little moves. We were not building bases at these price levels like we are right now. There is real price action going on at these levels, real volume, real purchasing. So anyways, minus the CZ thing, which I'm totally disappointed. I think that CZ is going to obviously desperately try to shitcoin him. I am somewhat curious to see how Michael Saylor responds. But I think it's also another case of don't have any heroes, but again, on the positive note, great to see putting his money where his mouth is. And you can see that he definitely is bullish on Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Amen to that. Phil, there was a software release today. Why don't you tell everybody about it?
Software releases. All right, let's take a look. Oh, nice. Okay, so we've got Specter version 0.10.2 that was released. The details and the link will be down below in the show notes.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around for another week of Simply Bitcoin. I know we had some technical difficulties and we had to move the schedule, but we have an announcement today. We're going to do another episode of Simply Bitcoin every week. So instead of releasing episodes Tuesday through Saturday, now we will be releasing episodes Tuesday through Sunday, right? So 6 episodes a week instead of 5. And I hope you guys like that extra episode because I know we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun filming it. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a good weekend, everybody. The rest of the weekend.